Hello, my name's Mark Hunt. I'm a PhD in pharmacology and the author of around 30 different academic papers, mainly in the field of neuroscience and neuropharmacology. I'm also the founder of eCorrector, a scientific editing and proofreading company where we help authors who are non-native speakers of English improve their English so that it can get to the level required for submission and acceptance eventually in international peer-reviewed journals. The purpose of this talk is more of a tutorial. It's to show you and to walk you through the process of uploading your files, your cover letters, your figures, your tables, and of course your main text to a target journal, generating the PDF required by that journal and submitting it to the journal. I'm actually going through this process myself, so it's very suitable time for me to do this presentation. Once it's submitted, that is what the editor will be viewing and deciding whether or not to send it out to review. And if it is sent out to review, that's what the reviewers as well will be looking at. So it's important to make sure that your final submission is as good as possible. Right, before you start uploading your files, give the instructions to authors a final look through to make sure that you haven't missed out any important information. For example, a lot of journals require that you include your funding and disclosure, that say there's no conflict of interest. In this particular journal requests that that's stated in the cover letter and also in the main manuscript. There's lots of small details to pay attention to, and it's important because you want to get this right, because these are the sort of things that are straightforward to fix in your file before it's submitted to the journal. For sure, you want to check the word count. In this particular journal, there's a limit of 750 words for the introduction, 1,500 words for the methods, and the rest is results and discussion. They do like you to have short abstracts, 150, 250 words. You need to include a brief title, informative title, 150 characters, and as well a running title, which is about 60 characters. So once you've checked that everything in your file, in your Word file, is consistent with the instructions to authors, then what you can do is you're ready to upload your paper. So I'm going on to the neuropsychopharmacology website. Let's just see. So here, submit. So I've already got an account here, but on almost all journals, you're going to have, if you're submitting there for the first time, then you'll have to register for an account. And if you've forgotten it, then like most websites, you've got a reminder there. So I'm going to log in. This is what most of my work has already been uploaded, but this is the sort of thing that goes on in your personal profile. You've got your ORCID number, your details, you've got your work contacts, but the thing that we're going to focus on is the submission. So when you submit a paper, first of all, you need to upload your files. And the reason why it's helpful to have all of your files in one place is when you choose your file to upload, you can upload them in a logical manner. Normally, you're asked to upload your cover letter first of all, so you upload that, then your main paper, and then your figures, and then any supplementary material. So that gets uploaded. I've already done this. So this is what I uploaded earlier. It's got my cover letter, the main article, the figures, and you can just select whether you're uploading a figure or supplementary text or different sorts of type of files, tables, for example. The file type, this just again shows you, for example, if you upload a figure and it in fact should have been supplementary, then you can change it. This just is the summary of your data. If you make a mistake, it doesn't matter at this stage. You just delete it and then you upload the correct file. This is the description. So I know what figure 1 is. So I've copied and pasted from the main text my figure caption for figure 1, and the same for all the figures, including supplementary figures. It's important to have captions there as well. I can get rid of this because I don't need to have supplementary 1 repeated, supplementary 2 repeated. So I'm going to save and continue. And then your order of the files. So if you have uploaded them in the wrong order, then it's just easy. You can move figure 1 from here. If you made it, if figure 1 down there, you just get your correct or ordering correct. Let's move this back up. And this one back up. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Supplementary material, cover letter, and main article. So this is the core part of the submission process. Then you save and continue if you've changed something. The next part, most journals ask you to copy and paste your title, your short running title. You can check the length there. Length, it tells me the length is okay. But if, for example, I had too many words, for example here, nasal respiration, I'm going to be over the word limit now. Check the length. It says the length is not okay. There's too many words there, or too many characters there. So I have to, it won't let me submit it otherwise. So I have to go back to the original format. Length is okay. It's exactly the same process with the abstract. So you save and continue. Then you upload all of your author information. So there's 7 authors here. Each author has to have their own separate sort of details. So I've got my name. I'm the last author of this paper, so I'm 7th. Emails, affiliations, funding. Same for the other authors as well. So they're all have all got their details there. Then in this particular journal, they like you to identify what is the more specific type of focus of the paper. For example, biological science, cancer, skin cancer, melanoma. In this case, it's biological science, neuroscience, diseases of the nervous system and depression, and also disease of the neurosystem, schizophrenia. So I've given 2 subject terms. The technique. So in this case, I've added the technique which I used, which was field potential recordings, and the category is electrophysiology. There's not actually too much choice, but the most you have to choose the most relevant, and in this case, it is electrophysiology. So save and continue. Then the journal asks you for some more information. Have you read all of the information about the journal? There's no conflict of interest. If there is, then you have to explain what that potential conflict could be. Publication in open access, that's quite important because you want as many people to read it as possible. Is it a clinical trial? In my case, it's not, so I click the no box. Each journal will have different questions, but the overall format is very, very similar. The charges, if you're going to print things in colour, then that needs to be accounted for often at this stage, or where the funds are going to come from. In my case, I put no, my manuscript does not contain material that must be published in colour. It doesn't matter, it can be published in black and white. This is relatively new. I haven't come across this too much. Social media, it's an option. You don't need to include it. For now, I haven't. I might go back there and include it. And you're allowed to suggest reviewers. That might be 6 reviewers that are potential, and reviews that you don't want to review your work. In that case, I nearly always leave that blank. Next step here is to validate. So I've got my cover letter. Validate that. I uploaded it as a PDF. So I uploaded it as a Word document, and it comes out as a PDF. It's important that you get the date right. Really pay attention to who the editor is of the journal, and get that right. And also stress the name of the journal as well. And if you're sending it to other journals, make sure that you edit it. If it gets rejected, make sure that you edit that very carefully. So you've got the correct journal and the correct editor there. All right, I'm gonna go back. Right. So I've got my figures, my main text, supplementary material. I can check that. So, for example, if I click on one of these, then I'll see what the figure looks like. You can see that looks fine. Then what happens right at the end is you can view the whole document. So I've got the title page with the authors, with the number of words, supplementary material, running title, all of this information that the journal requests, the abstract. This is all a PDF, results, all the way through the figure legends, references, and then right at the end I've got my figures. So what I tend to do is I download this document, and then I will go through that later on, make sure there's no obvious mistakes. It's important that the authors have all seen a final manuscript. Stop sharing. It's important that the other authors have seen a final version of the manuscript. The journal often requires that, and then once I'm happy with it and the other authors are happy, then that will get submitted. This stage, it's almost ready to go. There's just one button that I click, which is the final submission, and then I'll be asked, are you sure you want to submit? And I'll say yes if I'm sure, and then it will be go to the editorial staff that will make sure that everything is done correctly, that I've fulfilled all of the basic criteria. If so, then it will go to one of the section editors who will look at the paper and then decide whether or not it's suitable for their journal. And then if it is, then it goes out to review. And if it's not, then it comes back to me with a letter from the editor saying that it's not appropriate for their journal. So that's really how you prepare your final PDF. Once you've got your figures, your Word documents, your cover letter, once you've got all your basic documents, go to the website. They all look pretty much the same, and then you submit that to the journal, and then hopefully you get positive replies back from the reviewers. Okay, thank you.